Well, the time it has finally came. The NFL season is back in about, I don't know if I'm uploading this today, tomorrow, 2 or 3 days. And we're all here for it. We've all had our taste of the college football. Notre Dame, you specifically embarrassed me. How did you lose to Miami? That O-line is terrible. But anyways, we're back. And of course, with the NFL season being back, we have to have our NFL season predictions. And of course, you should know to disregard everything in the thumbnail. I do it just to troll, really. You know, Seahawks 13-4. If the Seahawks went 13-4, that would be something. It would. But it's just like a little bait. You know, you gotta at least bait a tad bit to go anywhere. But no, I don't think the Lions go 17. There are some teams I think have a chance to go 0-17 though, and of course, you'll see those in the video. So of course, the way I've done it the past 2 years, I used Pro Football Network's NFL Playoff Predictor, which allows you to predict every single game in football, really. You can also do other things too, like CFB. There's MLB, NBA stuff. You knew a bunch on there. In the first year, I did like the schedules, and I looked at them individually, which took a little too long. So I do think this is a better way. But of course, you're not going to really see my intricate picks. However, you can make your own picks if you go to profootballnetwork.com, not sponsored, and make your own picks. So if you think I'm wrong, you can go do that. Take like 5-10 minutes, not that long. But, of course, let's get right into it. So this isn't an hour video because this is going to be a long. If I can, there we go. So, I like to start it off north, I believe northwest, east, south. It might be northeast, west, south. We'll see. But, starting off first, got Division 1, the AFC North. First off, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who I have going 10-7 and going third in the division. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals might have one of the best offenses in the game. They have Joe Burrow. They have T. Higgins, who they kept. They also have Jamar Chase, who they kept. Their offense is really good. The defense is not so good. They gave Trey Hendrickson a Band-Aid deal. Basically, they gave him 1 year, and he's going to be a free agent next year, so they're going to lose him after this year. Name another person on the Bengals defense. Like, there's really just no one of note on the defense, and that is the problem last year. They went, was it 9-8, 8-9, one of those, but they went 9-8 or 8-9. Basically, because of Joe Burrow and the offense. The defense really sold him out of everything. They did go 9-8, by the way. He would have won MVP. Joe Burrow was obviously the best QB of that year. And, that went to waste. It did, because they didn't have a defense. And now, with Lou Anarumo gone into the Colts, there's a potential that the defense could be better. It's not. The defense is not going to be better. They have Trent Hendrickson, but that's really it. So, I do have the offense carrying them, because they can unironically put 50 points up in a week if they are playing the best to their ability. And their schedule really isn't that bad. So, I am going 10-7, despite a very bad start. I believe it's 1-5. Because the Bengals always start off slow. I'm getting upset by the Browns, upset by the Vikings, teams like that. However, I still think they go 10-7. Do they make the playoffs? We'll see. Now for their floor, like I said, their schedule's not terrible. So, and their offense is really good, so I'm going 8-9. But let's say the defense just randomly steps up out of nowhere. Well, congratulations. You have a really good team, and you're going 14-3. However, I don't think that's happening because their defense is just that bad. It really is. Now to the Browns. The Browns suck. The Browns suck. They did re-sign Myles Garrett, which is weird because he literally said he wanted to go to a playoff contender and win rings and not stay with a bum team. And then he stayed with a bum team just because they gave him money. But, I mean, the Browns, they're the Browns. Joe Flacco at QB. They drafted Shedeur Sanders. He's third string, whatever you think about him. He's probably not going to play. He might not even make a roster next year. Hopefully he does, but he might not even make a roster next year, let's be honest. Because he's on the third string. You know, even Dylan Gabriel's above him, which, who knows, might not be the best decision. But, other than that, who do the Browns have? They lost Chubb. They lost Nick Chubb. They have Jerry, Judy, and Njoku. They're fine. They're fine. I mean, it's just, their team is so bad. I have them winning 3 games, along with an upset week 1 against the Browns. I have an upset week 1 against the Bengals. I think they start off 1-0 and just absolutely throw the whole season away. But there's a world. There is definitely a world where the Browns go 0-17. And I'm not afraid to say that. They already went 0-16 once. They already went 0-17 once. Can they do it again? Who knows? Did they go 0-16? Because I know the Lions went 0-16, but did they go 0-16 or was it just 0-7? Let me get back to it. Oh wait, no team's gone 0-17. Or disregard that whole statement. Browns went 0-16. They just changed that to 17 games like a couple years ago. Let's move on. Baltimore Ravens. I'm first in the AFC North, going 13-4. Floor 12-5, ceiling 15-2. Not really much change with this team. They're just a really good team. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, robbed of MVP. He played better than Josh Allen. Joe Burrow played better than both, but he was on a bad team. Obviously, the Ravens' defense is great. They have a lot of good defensive players. They got Derrick Henry at running back. They signed Jair Alexander. They did lose Justin Tucker due to allegations. But now they have Tyler Loop. He's kicking 60-yarders like it's nothing. So, really, he's just back, apparently. We don't talk about Mark Andrews. But seriously, Mark Andrews sold me week 1 when he caught 1 ball. And then he sold in the divisional round against against the Bills, where he not only fumbled on a crucial drive, but he dropped the 2-point conversion. Isaiah Likely is the starter in about 2 years. Less than 2 years. But yeah, their defense is really good. Their offense is really good, obviously. Lamar Jackson, will he try to get back for getting robbed of that MVP last season? We'll see. Overall, I just have the Ravens doing well. They're just a really good team. I have them going first in the AFC North. And is that the first seed? We'll see. Steelers. The perennial 9-8 team, signing Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. I have them going second in the AFC North and going 11-6. Although it might be bad to hop on the Aaron Rodgers hype train, this team really can't go anything under 9-8. They haven't went under 9-8 for years. If Tomlin goes over 9-8 this season, or at 9-8, he will become, I believe, the first coach to do so or starting his career, or the first coach to have that stretch. I don't know exactly what that is, but basically, they want to go 9-8 more than they've ever wanted to go 9-8 before this year for Mike Tomlin. But the Steelers, they don't actually have a bad roster. I don't think. They have a good defense, obviously. T.J. Watt, one of the best defensive players in the game. Again, Aaron Rodgers. They did ship out George Pickens, but in exchange, they did get DK Metcalf. They got the one guy. Let me go find him. Jack Soar, the Ohio State's here in the Michigan game, picking that one pass off. Just for them to lose. Yeah. And they got Jalen Ramsey. I'm looking for the guy I was talking about. Oh, yeah. They also got Darius Slay. Yeah, you can tell I'm looking at the rosters right now. You can tell I'm looking at the rosters. They got Jonnu Smith. Yeah, they got Jonnu Smith. They're winning the North. They're winning a Super Bowl. No. But for real, though. I think that the Steelers have a good all-around roster, and their schedule isn't terrible. You know, I have them starting off like 7-1. I mean, their starting schedule is really easy. So I do have them going 9-8, or their floor is 9-8. If they go anything under 9-8, then you got to fire that man. I'm just saying. But I'm going 11-6 for real. The ceiling's 12-5. Not really much of a difference. But, you know, if Rodgers sells, who knows? Maybe they go like 7-10 or something. Yeah. He's had a consistent 9-8 or above record for 16 seasons. 16 seasons. If that's correct. That is a record. But moving on. We're now at the AFC West. So I was right. Northwest, East, South. But AFC West, obviously, with the Chiefs. However, the Broncos and Chargers are on the come up and might take their spot. And the Raiders could be sneaky. Speaking of the Broncos, I have them going 10-7. And they're the third in the AFC West. But I forgot the I, unfortunately. The Broncos, they surprised a lot of people, including me last season. I did not think they were going to do that good. I thought Bo Nix was not going to do that good. And they did do good. It's good to see. Because the Broncos are a very likable team. Sometimes. Obviously, Broncos, Bo Nix. He's their QB. Their offense isn't terrible, per se. They got Cortland Sutton. They got J.K. Dobbins at running back. However, their defense has a bunch of stars. PS2, Patrick Surtain. One of the best defensive corners in the game. They have Dre Greenlaw. They have Nick Bonito. They have Hufanga. Talanoa Hufanga. They have a really good defense. Their defense is going to be nice this season. And their offense isn't terrible either. You know, they have some good receivers. Bo Nix, can he make another step? Or does he go to Mac Jones route? We'll see. But for the Broncos, I have them going 10-7. Do they sneak in the playoffs? We'll see. But I think their floor, it could be 8-9. You know, there are a couple of games in there that I don't think the Broncos are locks in. However, there are a lot of games the Broncos could win. I have their ceiling at 13-4, which would be insane to see. Do I think that's going to happen? Do I think that's going to even be close to happening? Probably not. However, it's definitely possible. Next, of course, we have the Chargers, who also made a good step last year after not having the best 23-24 season. They went 5-12 that year. But in 2024, they stepped up, went 11-6, and made the playoffs despite Losing to the Texans, embarrassing. Of course, they have Justin Herbert. They have Keenan Allen. They got Najee Harris. He came here. Lad McConkey, Amarion Hampton, the draftee from North Carolina. They have Mr. Dropman, Quentin Johnson. And their defense, it'll be good because they've got John Harbaugh. Hopefully John. Because, no, it's Jim. It's Jim. I almost got it wrong. It's Jim Harbaugh. John is the coach for the Ravens. Or was. Nah, I'm joking. He was. He's still there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Chargers, they'll have a good defense because they have Jim Harbaugh. There aren't many notable names for them. Like, they have Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Tui Polo 2. My mistake. They don't have really big names. And I believe they lost Nick Bosa. Or one of the Bosas. Yeah, because Nick Bosa's the 49er. I forgot the... Joey. I believe they lost Joey Bosa. Yeah, he's on the Bills now. But, obviously, defense is going to do good. Offense is going to do good. I have them going 12-5. Is that enough to overtake the Chiefs? We'll see. But their floor, 11-6. Ceiling, 13-4. I'm pretty high on the Chargers. I think the Chargers do pretty good this season. For the Chiefs, I have them going 12-5 as well. However, some absolute BS devil magic's going to have them first in the division. However, I'm not confident on the Chiefs this year. I have their floor at 8-9. If that were to happen, that would be crazy. I mean, just thinking, after the blowout Super Bowl loss, their roster isn't really that good. They obviously have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Pacheco, worthy at receiver. Rashee Rice, he's getting suspended. They obviously have Chris Jones, Karlaftis, McDuffie. I'm not confident on this Chiefs team. Of course, with Mahomes, they could do anything. But I'm not confident on this Chiefs team. They don't really have that good of an offense, other than Mahomes. They don't really have the best defense. So there could be some trouble brewing in Kansas City. However, I still have them going 12-5 because, again, it's the Chiefs. I mean, you never count them out. And, of course, through devil magic, they could go 14-3 because they're the Chiefs. Now on to the Raiders. I was a little surprised when I was doing these predictions. I have them going 8-9. I don't actually think this Raider roster is that bad, to be honest. They got Geno Smith at quarterback, obviously. Seahawk turned Raider, obviously. They have got Amari Cooper and Jacoby Myers at receiver. One of the best tight ends in the game, Brock Bowers. Max Crosby, defensive end, one of the best defensive players in the game. They also have Raheem Mostert. Now, their defense isn't as good, obviously. Not as many notable names. Of course, like I said, Max Crosby, just not the best names on the defense. They drafted Ashton Genty. I expect them to do good this season. So I actually have them making a big step and going 8-9. They also have Pete Carroll, too. Forgot to mention him. He just came to the Raiders. But their floor, it could be 6-11. It probably will be more towards 6-11 than 8-9. But they could also go 9-8, so we'll see. But a little high on the Raiders, more high than I thought I would have been. And maybe they do good this season, we'll see. And if not, they'll get a QB in a draft, and then they'll do good. Moving on to the East, we got, obviously, MVP Josh Allen-led Bills, and the rest of the plebeians. They all suck, to be honest. Even the Dolphins, we'll see. Bills, pretty obvious. They're going first in the East. I have them at 11-6. However, looking at their schedule, they could legitimately win 16 to 17 games. Not the hardest, not the easiest, of course. But they have the MVP Josh Allen, no matter how much I hate to say that. You have the MVP Josh Allen. James Cook at running back. Coleman as a receiver. Like I said, Joey Bosa's here. Shakir. Still have DeMar Hamlin. They basically can't release the guy. It would not be a good look. But Kincaid at tight end. Bolano, linebacker. Bishop at safety. Their team's pretty good. Their defense is decent. It's not the greatest. That's why I don't have them winning like 16 games. Obviously, the offense is going to be good. They're led by Josh Allen. But the 11-6 easily wins you the East in this year. I'm not high on any of the other teams in the East, and that's unfortunate. Because I really do like the Dolphins, and I like the Dolphins roster, and I like the Dolphins coach. I don't think they step up this year. I think they regress even further. And the other teams, So, the Bills don't really have to do anything, really. They can go 11-6, 16-1, 10-7. They'll win the division. They don't really have to try and save your energy for the playoffs or something. But Bills, 11-6, good year for them. Dolphins, like I was saying, I have them actually third in the East. It's just, Tua can't stay healthy. He keeps getting concussed. I'm really worried for him. We said that last year in the prediction, and the dude got concussed again. I mean, I'm concerned for him. I'm concerned for him. I do like Tua. Tua's a really good QB when he's not concussed. But he gets concussed a lot. So, not really good. Obviously, wide receiver core, one of the best in the league. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They got Ollie Gordon at running back. He got drafted, even though he had a terrible year last year in college. Obviously, A-Chain at running back. Chop Robinson at linebacker. Judon, linebacker. Darren Waller, he came out of retirement just to come to the Dolphins. I don't know why he did that. Rasul Douglas at cornerback. You got a lot of aging people and not the best QB play, unfortunately. If Tua's healthy, he can play good. But if Tua's not healthy, you got Zach Wilson. I rest my case. So I'm going 6-11. There's a world where they do go 9-8, potentially make the playoffs. However, I have them going 6-11, and who knows what they do in the offseason after that. And if they go 4-13, there's going to be some conversations about some people's jobs, which is unfortunate. Don't really have much else to say. Moving on to the Jets, they're even worse. I have them going 5-12. There's not much to say about them. Justin Fields at QB, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. They won offensive defensive rookie of the year in the same season, and now they suck. Not them, of course, but their team sucks. Breece Hall at running back. They also have Lazard. The Packer obviously came from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's just not notable people on this team, really. I'm going 5-12. Not many deviations from that. 6-11, 4-13. The Jets just aren't good. And they're going to keep up their no playoff streak. It's unfortunate. But that's the case. Not much to say about them. Not much to say about the Patriots either, obviously. Drake May. Have them going 7-10, making another step. However, I don't have them in a contention stage yet. They still need more players. For some reason, I switched up the floor and the ceiling. The ceiling's supposed to be 8-9, which is possible. The floor is supposed to be 5-12, which is also possible. It's just, team's not really notable. Stephon Diggs, that's going to be interesting 2 years. Or 2 years. Oh my gosh. I can't speak. That's going to be interesting 2 games against Buffalo. Drake May, of course. Gotta say him over and over again because Drake May's the GOAT. Travion Henderson at running back. Christian Gonzalez, great corner. They've got 2 Linsanity Red Legends, Joshua Dobbs and Tommy DeVito, because that's more important than other people. Yeah, just not the best wide receiver room, not the best running back. Ramondre Stevenson, he's a good running back. He's not the best. And their defense, it's not the best either. They're not terrible. It's not the best. So I have the Patriots going 7-10. There's a world where they go 8-9. There's a world they go 5-12. Moving on to the South. I know you're not going to like me because I'm biased. I tried my hardest. But looking at the schedule, I have the Colts going 9-8 and winning the South. I'm just looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule. And I'm looking at the team. The team is not as bad as people make it out to seem. It really isn't. Now, the main reason I have them going 9-8 is because we are starting Daniel Jones. If Anthony Richardson starts, I can't speak. If Anthony Richardson starts, we win 12 games. I'm not lying. I'm not joking. I'm not pulling your leg. I'm not trying to be biased. I am dead serious. If we start Anthony Richardson, we win 12 games. But no, we're starting Daniel Jones. We're going to win 9 games. And we're probably going to miss the playoffs. Even if we go 9-8. In a more grounded world where you're not a fan of the Colts, you probably have them going 6-11. And I'm not disagreeing with you. Because we have Daniel Jones starting. Other than the QB, our team is not that bad. We got Luanarumo, defensive head coach. He's going to be good. We got Tyler Warren in the draft. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, Pittman, Adonai Mitchell, Alec Pierce. That is not a bad wide receiver core in the slightest. You can say there's no stars. I don't really care. That is a great, solid wide receiver core. On our defense, we got Zaire Franklin, tackle leader. We signed Xavier Howard, Dolphin, who hasn't played in a while. We have Cameron Bynum from the Vikings. JT Tuimoloau from the Ohio State Buckeyes. He was really good in the preseason. We've got Charvarius Ward, from the 49ers. Our defense is not bad. We got Laiatu Latu. Our line is good. Quentin Nelson, Raymond, Forrest Buckner, defensive tackle. Kenny Moore, cornerback, although he's pretty old. Our team is not bad, and I don't understand people who keep saying year in and year out that we have one of the worst teams and the worst rosters in the league when we go 9-8 every year. We go 9-8 every year, surprise everyone, and everyone just calls us trash again. It doesn't make sense. You know the reason we're trash? You want to know the reason we're trash? We're starting Daniel Jones at QB. That's why we're not going to do good this year. Not because we have a bad team. Not because we have a bad defense. Not because we have a bad offense. We're starting Daniel Jones. That's why we're going to do bad. That's the only reason why we're going to do bad. And when we get a quarterback in the offseason, or if Anthony Richardson comes in and balls out mid-season when we're like 1-7, then there's going to be change. And people are going to get fired after this season. Just go look at my Colts rant. I'm not trying to keep this too long. This video is already like 20 minutes long. 30 minutes long, I don't even know. Again, starting Daniel Jones is a joke. Sorry for the crashing. I'm going 9-8. They're likely going to go 11-6. Or 6-11. Their ceiling's 11-6. Again, their roster's not bad and their schedule's not bad. And if we were running Anthony Richardson, we're winning 12. We would win 12 games. But moving on, Jaguars have them going 8-9. The Jaguars team last season was an absolute enigma. Would they go like 3-13? 4-13. Trevor Lawrence got hurt in the middle. However, Trevor Lawrence is coming back. Travis Hunter, wide receiver corner. Etienne, Bigsby, running backs. Josh Hines Allen in the defensive end. Cam Little, Mr. 70-yarder. Their offense, or their team, isn't horrendous. Someone I forgot to mention, because he's not showing up. Where is he at? Where is he at? We've lost him. We've lost the guy. He's gone. No. Brian Thomas Jr., really good wide receiver from last year. I don't think they'll be as bad as last year. I mean, I think that was just an enigma. It doesn't really make sense how they were that bad last year. However, their floor is 5-12. They could go that bad. I don't have them really doing much better than 8-9. But Jaguars in the same position as the Texans. I am going 9-8. They're probably winning the South like they do every year. However, of course, I'm biased. I had the Colts. Ignore me because I had the Colts. Their ceiling's 10-7. If everything goes wrong, their floor is 6-11. Texans are really good. C.J. Stroud, signed Nick Chubb. They have Mr. Graham Mertz from Florida. I don't know why I mentioned him. We don't care. Jalen Higgins, Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, C.J. Gardner-Johnson as safety. They also have Pierce, running back. Jaden Smith, quarterback. Danielle Hunter, defensive end. Their team's pretty good. We'll see how good they do, of course. I have them going 9-8. They're probably winning the South. But it's possible that everything goes wrong. They go 6-11. We'll see. Of course, biased on the Texans. They'll probably win 12 games. We'll see. We'll see. Now, what we won't see, Titans in the playoffs because they're going 7-10. Now, I actually have them doing decent, really. I think Cameron Ward's going to have a really good season. They got Calvin Ridley, the aging Tyler Lockett, the aging Tony Pollard. Their team is full of old people. It really is. Now, their defense really isn't that good. They got Snead. He's also old. Everyone on this team is old. Yeah, maybe 7 games is too high. It's more likely the floor. They'll probably win 5 games, but I have them going 7-10. Their ceiling's 8-9 because every team in the South just has to be mid. Of course, I have them going 4th. But that's the AFC done. Looking at the playoff bracket, we have the Ravens at the 1st seed, the Chiefs at the 2nd seed, the Bills at the 3rd seed, and, of course, the Texans at the 4th seed. But I had to add the Colts because I'm biased. Chargers in the 5th seed, Steelers in the 6th seed, and the Bengals in the 7th seed. Just barely sneaking in. Moving on to the NFC, we got the NFC North. Moving on to the NFC North teams, we have the Chicago Bears. And I'm not buying the hype this year. Every single year, everyone hypes up the Bears. Everyone says the Bears are going to do good. Everyone says the Bears are going to turn around. What happens? The Bears never turn around. The Bears never do good. They're always mid. And I'm not buying the hype this year. And if this inadvertently, I'm just saying words now. If this somehow helps the Bears and they go like 12-5, Caleb Williams throws for 400 yards. 400. I'm talking too much. And if he somehow throws for like 400,000 yards or something. Caleb Williams, 400,000 yards in the season. That would be crazy. Caleb Williams is the best QB ever. He's the best QB ever. But I'm not buying the hype. I'm not buying the Bears hype. I'm going 4th. Of course, their team on paper isn't that bad, and they signed the Lions offensive head coach as their head coach. Ben Johnson. Yeah, you could tell I looked that up. Yeah, they had Ben Johnson. And now the Bears had Ben Johnson. So maybe he turns it around. Who knows? But I'm not buying Bears hype. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it for like a third year in a row. I'm not doing it the third year in a row. So Bears 6-11, ceiling 7-10, floor 4-13. Hopefully they prove me wrong. They probably won't. Detroit Lions, I still have them going first in the North, despite the Packers actually being closer than we may think. I have them going 12-5. Roster didn't really change much. They're getting all their defensive players back, which was the main reason why they did not do good in the playoffs last year. They lost all their defensive players. However, they're losing both their offensive head coach and their defensive head coach. They're replacing them. Of course, Dan Campbell's still there, but that could lead to some troubles, especially early on, which I have them starting off pretty bad. However, of course, quarterback Jared Goff. I'm really high on Jared Goff. One of the best running back talents in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. Both really good. Jameson Williams at wide receiver, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Of course, Sam Laporta at tight end. For their defense, Aiden Hutchinson, Terrion Arnold, Benes Rules at tackle, of course. One of the best offensive lines in the game. They also have Mr. Tyrus Wheat. No, I'm trolling. They have Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, just pretty good defensive. Also, Rock Ya-Sin, Colts legend. He's probably not going to play much, but still. I have him going 12-5. However, if everything goes wrong, and if missing out on offensive and defensive coaches really affects them a lot, they could go 7-10. There's a world where they go 7-10 with that hard schedule. However, they could also go 13-4. So we'll see on the Lions. Next, of course, we have the Green Bay Packers, who are nothing in the NFC North because I forgot the 2. I have them going 10-7. Originally, I had them going like 8-9, 7-10. Then they signed Michael Parsons. So I have them going 10-7, but their ceiling is 14-3. If Jordan Love can make another huge step, they're instant Super Bowl contenders and possibly Super Bowl favorites, especially with a guy like Michael Parsons on their team. I'm really high on the Packers after that signing. Of course, Jordan Love, of course. Michael Parsons. They got Golden at wide receiver. First round wide receiver in years. They got Josh Jacobs at running back. He saved my fantasy team a lot last season. Tucker Kraft at tight end. Defense is really good, along with Parsons, with Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary. They did lose Jair. That's a big one. However, I think Michael Parsons is a good, if not a better, exchange than Jair. And I think the defense will be just as good. So I'm going 10-7. It's possible that they do better. Although, their floor, my original win total I had for them, 8-9. It's still possible to go 8-9 if Jordan Love's just not as good as we might think. But finally, we have the Vikings, and you guys might be a little surprised. I have them going 6-11. Now, I also mixed up the floor and the ceiling again. That's embarrassing. 2 times in a row. Let me try some. But I have them going 6-11. I'm sorry. I can't put too much confidence on J.J. McCarthy. I really can't. It's just, I don't know. J.D. McCarthy just worries me. Especially coming off of an injury on your rookie season. It does worry me. Of course, they re-signed Adam Thielen, which is cool to see. They have Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, and Jordan Mason at running back. And obviously, really good defense. T.J. Hawkinson, pretty good tight end. They didn't have a good defense, of course. Defensive head coach, one of the best in the game. However, I just can't trust that offense led by J.J. McCarthy. We saw it a couple years ago when Kirk Cousins got hurt. Although they had a really bad defense then. But J.J. McCarthy, I don't have trust in him. And we'll see. He might prove me wrong. But I'm 6-11. Floor is a 5-12. Ceiling 7-10. Not much variation there. Moving on to the West. I do think the 49ers have a huge bounce back. I think they go 14-3. However, I think this is their last year of contention because they're going to have to start paying a lot of guys. So they're going to want to win now. And with everyone coming back, their team should be good. It's just a great roster overall. They have Purdy at QB, McCaffrey coming back at running back. Also have Brian Robinson Jr. One of the best tight ends at George Kittle. One of the best defensive ends at Nick Bosa. Fred Warner linebacker. Trent Williams at tackle. I'm just naming random people. Juszczyk the GOAT. They still got the fullback. That's why they're winning 14 games. But they have a really good offense. Or they should have a good offense. They should also have a good defense. However, again, this is one of their last years of contending. They're going to start falling off. I mixed up the floor and the ceiling again. But seriously, I genuinely think there's a world where they go 17-0. I think their roster's that good. I'm really high on them. And if they disappoint me again this season like they did last season, I am going to be a little salty. And their floor, 13-4. Guy going first in the West. Moving on. Apparently, the Cardinals just don't have a floor or a ceiling. And it's like I'm supposed to have like this great in-depth sort of slideshow for you guys, and I just ruin it. And then this is a pure okay, I know you guys don't really care. But the Cardinals, I have them going 6-11. Their roster isn't really much different from before. Do we really think Kyler Murray is going to take another step? And I don't even know how long his career's been. Their floor apparently is 2-15, which is not good. And their ceiling 7-10. I'm not high on the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals, of course, they go 8-9 last year? Let me see. The Cardinals went 8-9 last season. They legitimately almost made the playoffs. They could have, but I don't know. Their defense isn't really that good. There's not really much notable names. Budda Baker at safety is really the only guy they have. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's good. That's really it. Yeah, 6-11 might be high, and they might be leaning more towards 2-15. It's unfortunate for the Cardinals. Rams. Oh shoot, I messed up. No, y'all are getting leaks. No. This is all over the place. I'm sorry. This is really just all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing. Getting back on track. Definitely. I'm going to start using scripts. Yeah. I might need to start using scripts. I can't be doing this stuff unscripted. But no matter how much this pains me to say, I really want to say that the Rams just missed the playoffs. Again, people are way too high on the Rams. They said this last year, and unfortunately they were correct. People act like this team's going 15-2 and winning a Super Bowl. The Rams are not that good. Matthew Stafford's getting old. They have Puka Nacua. They lost Cooper Kupp. They have Devontae Adams. He's old. Blake Corum. He's mid. No, they have Kyron Williams running back. I just want to say Blake Corum mid because he was from Michigan. Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee. versus a linebacker. I mean, this team is just not as good as people say it out to be. And I really, really wanted them to go 5-12 or 6-11 and just embarrass everyone. But looking at their schedule, I have them going 9-8. I don't think they're going to be as terrible as I think they really are going to be. However, I still have that floor at 6-11. Again, people are too high on the Rams. And if you disagree, I want to know why. I genuinely want to know why people have the Rams as Super Bowl contenders or Rams as a really good team. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. The Rams, in my opinion, are not going to be as good of a team as they've been before, and they're likely going to miss the playoffs. We'll see if they make it, but Rams, 9-8, not comfortable. Moving on, Seahawks, 5-12. I'm not high on the Seahawks team. Not high at all. There's just not really much. They don't really have much. They got Sam Darnold at QB. Cooper Kupp, he's old. Kenneth Walker at running back. A lot of people have been disrespecting him, although I think he's going to be a pretty good running back. Jackson Smith, wide receiver 2. Charbonnet also at running back. The GOAT, Jake Bobo. And not really many notable names in the defense. You got Reek Woodland. Devon Witherspoon. Witherspoon, of course, he's pretty good. Julian Love. Yeah, I have them going 5-12. They're going to regress even further than they were last year. I have their ceiling at 7-10. Their floor at 4-13. Just, I don't know. I don't think the Seahawks will do that good this season. It's unfortunate. Talking to you, Seahawks fan. I know a Seahawks fan. I also know a Titans fan and Chiefs fan and a Bills fan. Colts better than all of them, but moving on. Commanders. I have them going first in the NFC East. Why do I have them going first in the NFC East? Because the NFC East has not had a repeat division champion in like 20 years. It's been forever since they've had a repeat division champion. And of course, why would I have that streak ending? I have the Commanders going 13-4, and I'm really high on them. I think the Commanders are going to do really good this year. I mean, we saw what happened with Jaden Daniels, one of the best rookie players. People are saying he might go through his sophomore slump. I don't think that happens. They re-signed Terry McLaurin to a new deal. They also have Deebo Samuel. They've got Austin Eckler at running back, along with Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. A lot of people have been high on him. Is it a joke? Maybe. Who knows? Von Miller at linebacker, of course. He's also really old. Marshawn Lattimore at cornerback. Zach Ertz at tight end. Laramie Tunsil at tackle. Just Noah Brown. Hail Mary legend. I think their team is going to be really good. I do. And I think they go 13-4, led by Jaden Daniels. There's a world where they go 16-1, which would be absolutely insane. But I'm going 13-4. However, there is also another world where it all collapses, and they go 8-9. We'll see. But I'm high on the Commanders, 13-4. Moving on to the sucky Cowboys. I mean, what an embarrassment. I was actually high on the Cowboys. I had them at 7-10. I had them at 10-7, to be honest. And then this man, Jerry Jones, was to go out of his way and trade Micah Parsons to the Packers. It just don't make any sense. Their defense sucks now. It's not that good. Trayvon Diggs, he's fine. Although he has a knee problem, apparently. He's questionable. I think he'll play, though. They got Deron Bland. He set the cornerback pick 6 record at about, 2 years ago. They got Turpin, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Pretty good offensive wide receiver room. Running backs, they got Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue. Yeah, this roster is just not that good, and it's concerning because Dak's on a long-term contract. He's getting a lot of money, so I don't know where they're going to improve either. I'm going 7-10. There's also another world where they go 10-7. There's also another world where they go 4-13. They could genuinely be that terrible, and then there's going to be questions about everyone on the team. So Cowboys, very embarrassing. 7-10. Yeah, y'all gotta, or Jerry Jones gotta retire. Eagles, obviously, Super Bowl champions. They get the little Super Bowl sticker right by their name. I'm going second in the East, going 12-5. However, there's a world where they go 16-1. Their team's really good. Obviously, not much changed. Jalen Hurts, is he top 5? Is Jalen Hurts top 5? I'm not going to get into that conversation right now. But Saquon Barkley, a running back, should have had the record most running back yards in the season. In a regular season, I mean. Because he did break the most running yards in a season, including the playoffs. He did break that record. However, he was about 100 yards away from the regular season record. And they just didn't play him, which was kind of annoying. Of course, Cooper DeJean at cornerback, A.J. Brown, Jihad Campbell, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, Will Shipley. Will Shipley's just such a random name. I mean, they have a really, really good team, both on the offensive and defensive side. There is also a world where they have a Super Bowl hangover that's pretty bad, and they go 9-8. I still think they would make the playoffs, I believe, but I'd have them going 9-8. But 12-5 is a pretty solid position for them, and who knows? Will they make it back to the Super Bowl? We'll see. Giants. I don't have much to say about the Giants, really. I mean, Jackson, Dart, Russell Wilson, QBs. Abdul Carter, he's good. Malik Neighbors. Tracy's alright. I mean, their team's terrible. Their team's not good. I'm going 2-15. Hopefully Russell Wilson proves me wrong, because I do like Russell Wilson. But their team's just not good. Their team's not good. I'm going 2-15. Floor is 1-16. The floor really is 0-17. To be honest, I just didn't want to put it just to be nice. Ceiling's 5-12. It's just the Giants roster is just not good. I'm sorry. Finally, after such a long time, we've reached our final division, the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have going 7-10. 10-7. I believe sneaking into the playoffs. Their floor is 8-9, and their ceiling is 4-13. 4-13. 14-3. They could definitely be that good. Every time I've been low on the Bucs, they've done good. Every time I've been high on the Bucs, they've done okay. The Bucs are definitely an enigma. Of course, main story of the Bucs season, Mike Evans. If he goes for 1,000 yards one more time, he will surpass Jerry Rice with the most consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards of all time. That's the main story of this Bucs season, and I think he'll do it. Other wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Chris Godwin, he's coming back. Rashad White and Bucky Irvin at running back, although Bucky Irvin snatched that starting spot. Cade Otton at tight end. Defense isn't as notable. Vita Vea, Levante David. Not the most notable. Anton Winfield Jr. There are some players they got. Like, they got Yaya Diablo at linebacker. They're winning the Super Bowl. Let me move on. But they could go 8-9, be mid, like NFC South teams usually are. They could also go 14-3. I think their roster is that good that they could do it. But I'm going 7-10. Or 10-7, I mean. And of course, Baker. He's good. But the Atlanta Falcons, I actually have making a big step. I'm pretty confident on the Falcons. I actually really like their team this year. I say this every year, and they always sell me. But I'm going to do it again this year. I'm going to double dip. I'm going to triple dip. I'm going to quadruple dip. I have them going 11-6 and winning the South for the first time in a while. Obviously, at QB, they're going to have Michael Penix, a Washington and Indiana legend. Unfortunately, Kirk Cousins just couldn't pan out, even though they're paying him a lot. I really do like Kirk Cousins. It's unfortunate that he kind of fell off there. They're not going to remember him well, even though he had that 500-yard game against the Buccaneers. That was a legacy game. Michael Penix, their starting quarterback. Bijan Robinson. He's going to be one of the best running backs this season. He's going to be really good. Kyle Pitts, can he make the jump finally? Who knows? Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Pretty good wide receivers, especially Drake London. I'm expecting another huge step for him. They got James Pierce Jr., defensive end. Also, Tyler Algier, running back. Leonard Floyd. Xavier Watts. I would have really liked to see him on the Colts, but hell. Jesse Bates. Billy Bowman. I'm confident in the team. I think the team's going to do good. Of course, there's another world. 8-9. Just completely sell my entire prediction and make me mad again. But they could also go 13-4. I'm going 11-6. Moving on to the Panthers. Is it bad that I'm not confident in them? Because I'm really not confident in them. I don't trust the Panthers. I don't really think they've made much of a step. And I don't really trust Bryce. I don't trust Bryce. And I'm sorry to say that. Because Bryce Young's a cool player. I just don't trust him, really. Of course, they lost. And that's kind of embarrassing because I forgot the guy's name. I'm an embarrassment. They lost Adam Thielen. Of course, just traded him to the Vikings. They really wanted him back. They got Teteroa McMillan. I expect him to do good, along with Hunter Renfrow and Xavier Legette. Trevor Hubbard at running back. Dowell also at running back. ETN also at running back. And their defense, J.C. Horn. Yeah, just not good. So I have the Panthers going 4-13. Unfortunate. The ceiling 7-10. They could make strides. However, the floor could also be 3-14. So, unfortunate for the Panthers. Last team. New Orleans Saints. I also know a Saints fan. I'm very sorry. 3-14. That's all I really need to say. Shut Rattler. That's all I need to say. Now, they do have Alvin Kamara. Chris Olave is pretty good. Rashid Shaheed, he's cool. Chase Young, defensive end, he goes around to every team, really. Their team's terrible. For some reason, they're ceiling 6-11. I don't know why. But I have them going 3-14. Their floor is 1-16. The floor really is 0-17, let's be honest. But, yeah. New Orleans Saints, everybody. To the NFC playoff bracket, we have the 49ers, Commanders, the Lions, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Packers, and the Bucks. Now, to playoffs, we got the wild cards. Have the Chiefs beating the Bengals, which kind of hurts to say a little bit, because they don't play him in the regular season. So Patrick Mahomes will become 3-3, I believe, against Joe Burrow. Even though it really should be, 5-0? It really should be 5-0 if the refs weren't involved and absolutely robbed the Bengals out of 2 games. But unfortunately, Joe Burrow will become 3-3 against Patrick Mahomes. I have the Bills beating the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers really are ready. they lose another wild card game. And even despite all of Mike Tomlin's 9-8s, he might be on a hot seat. And I have the Chargers, unfortunately, beating the Colts and or the Texans. If it's the Texans, they'll get their get back. I would be really disappointed in the Chargers if they play the Texans and lose again. That would be really stupid. On the other side, we've got the Commanders beating the Bucks, the Lions beating the Packers, which is a very interesting game, and the Eagles beating the Falcons. Moving on to the divisional, we have the Ravens beating the Chargers, and of course, since Patrick Mahomes absolutely owns Josh Allen in the playoffs, Chiefs are going to beat the Bills. And I'm going to like every second. On the other side, I have the Eagles defeating the 49ers, officially ending their window, basically. And I got the Lions getting their get back last year and defeating the Commanders. For the conference champion, I do have the Ravens pulling it out. And I also have the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl. Now, quick reward side tangent. Let's see. MVP, either Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. Offensive player of the year, Derrick Henry. Defensive player of the year, I think TJ Watt finally breaks through and wins that. After Myles Garrett multiple times. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm high on Tyler Warren, of course. I'm high on Cam Ward. I'm not high on Shock. Not at all. G&T. G&T's a really good candidate here. Defensive Player of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year. That one's a hard one. I don't know, actually. Maybe Travis Hunter. It's just Holmes, Grant, Walker, Nolan, Shamar, Barron. I don't know. Defensive Rookie of the Year is always one of the hardest, in my opinion, to call. Yeah, I don't know. Really. Maybe James Pierce, maybe Malachi Starks, maybe Jihad Campbell. Always a hard one. O-line of the Year award. Is it O-line or is it D-line? It's one of the, I think it's Protector of the Year. Yeah, O-line. One of the Lions or Chiefs O-lines. I think they'll win it. Comeback Player of the Year. Wish I could say Anthony Richardson, but, he's not starting. Aiden Hutchinson. I forgot Aiden Hutchinson got injured. Aiden Hutchinson, Comeback Player of the Year. Is that all the awards? I believe that's all the awards. But moving on to the Super Bowl. We've got the Ravens and we've got the Eagles. And in the Super Bowl, that is Super Bowl 60. I think the Ravens pull it out and the Ravens win the Super Bowl over the Eagles for the first time in a while. It was like 2012 when Joe Flacco led them to the Super Bowl and won it. I think the Ravens go back to the Super Bowl and they win it. Ravens fans rejoice. Eagles fans, you still made the Super Bowl. You won one last year. You don't need another one. But Anyway, that's all. I'm sorry for this long video. It might be like an hour, to be honest. We'll see once it comes out. Anyways, if you genuinely watched this whole video, thank you for watching. If you didn't watch the whole video, thank you for at least clicking on the video. Every view counts, even if it's just for 1 second. Just Colts winning the Super Bowl in 2097, and yeah, that's all I really have to say. See you for the opener on Thursday. We're back. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. And peace. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.